Peace, friends. My name is Mikkel White. I'm the pastor here at the S Lansing campus of Sycamore Creek Church. It's great to see you on this sunny morning. We like to start off our services with a little bit of audience interaction, and we're talking about celebration this morning. So if you're being celebrated, do you want to be part of the planning, or would you rather it be a surprise? Shout it out for me.
Part of the planning.
Okay, if you want to be part of the planning, raise your hand. If you want it to be a surprise, way more surprises. You are not control freaks. That's maybe a good thing. All right. We have a couple of songs to sing. Would you stand with me as you're able, and let's sing together.
Never enough.
praise. You keep moving. I am all that I need. You are all that I need. I am all that I need. You are all that I need. Yeah. There's honey in the rock, water in the stone, manna on the ground. No matter where I go, I don't need to worry now that I know everything I need you got. There's honey in the rock, purpose in your plan, power in the blood, healing in your hand. Started flowing when you said it is done. Jesus, Jesus, who you are is enough. There's honey in the rock. Ooh, there's honey in the rock. Honey in the rock. There's honey in the rock. Oh, how sweet it is to trust in you, Jesus. Oh, how sweet it is to trust in you, Jesus. Oh, how sweet it is to trust in you, Jesus. Amen. Let's thank him because he is everything that we need. You can have a seat, and kids, you are now dismissed to Kids Creek.
All right. What a way to start the morning, huh? Yeah. Again, my name is Mikkel White. I'm the pastor here at the South Lansing campus of Sycamore Creek Church. Joining me this morning is my co-host is Lou Worthington.
Hi.
Lou, I always love having you as a co-host. I feel like we always have good conversations up here.
We do.
I mean, I like everybody to have as co-host. I'm not trying.
No, yeah. Well, there's some. No, I like being here because I like being with these people.
Me too. All right.
I mean it.
When people came in, they got a program.
Oh, yeah.
And that program is one of these.
We have a connection card, and what we would appreciate, whether you are the first-time visitor here or you have been here thousands of times, hundreds of thousands of times, please put your name and email so that we can get back with you. We can keep track of, not in a spy kind of way.
No,
but
just so we can connect with you.
So we can connect, and more info on that later.
Yeah. All right, we are a cell phone friendly church here, so pull out your cell phone, snap a selfie, post it to your social media with the hashtag SCCMI. Let people know that you're part of a faith community like Sycamore Creek. This is a great way to let people know that they can ask you about your faith community, and chances are if they trust you, maybe they would take a chance on a new faith community.
And this is a good faith community.
I like to think so.
Woo.
I may be a little biased. All right, so this morning we are wrapping up our series on holy habits. We're going to talk about celebration this morning, and our message begins with this.
What if holiness isn't about perfection, but about practice? In holy habits, you'll experience the small, consistent rhythms that build a life of purpose and peace. From reading scripture to finding mentors, these habits don't just change what you do, they change who you become. Join Sycamore Creek for this 6-week series leading up to Easter. Holy habits, small choices, sacred rhythms, a life that lasts.
So when I graduated from high school, this is me at high school, it wasn't really a big deal to me. And really even like from college. I know this isn't everybody's experience, but for me it was sort of like the thing that you did. You graduate from high school, you go to college, you graduate. It just is what it is, right? And I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. Those were things I was just supposed to do. And then roughly 10 years after I graduated from college, I enrolled in a graduate seminary program. And when I started seminary, I had a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And you can see here my daughter, who was 18 months old, helping me with my homework. my experience in seminary was a little different than my undergrad experience. If you look really closely, you can see there's a yellow Twizzler on the table that she shared with me. Like, it was a little bit different, right? And I began a countdown clock 365 days before graduation. I knew when my graduation was, and I was ready for it. The seminary that I was graduating from was 9 hours from where I lived in North Carolina. So none of my family had been there yet. And I reserved an Airbnb months in advance. I was getting like my parents and our friends' family. I had like 9 or 10 people who were gonna go. I was ready to cry when I walked across the stage. I was like just imagining this moment. But what I haven't mentioned yet this morning is that I graduated in May of 2020. So about a month before graduation, the ceremony was delayed. And then as we got closer, it was just moved to be online. So when the day of graduation finally arrived, I felt like my life had moved on. I had moved to a different state. I had started a different job. And instead of walking across the stage and having this moment, I rolled out of bed and sat around the table with my family on Zoom. This big moment that I had hyped up for and waited for didn't land the way that I had expected it to. I thought it would bring me all kinds of happiness, but it didn't hit the way that I expected. And so now I wonder, why did I pile all of my expectations up on this one moment, this one thing? And what if joy isn't something we arrive at all in one moment, but is something that we actually practice? Today we're wrapping up this series. It's called Holy Habits. It's based on a book by Noah Heron, who is a pastor and an author and a speaker. And as we wrap up, I want to remind you a little bit of some of our key learnings. We've learned that holy habits are daily habits that help us to stay in love with God. And so in this series, we're working together to engage these habits because we want to stay in love with God. In a letter that's attributed to the Apostle Paul, he writes to his mentee Timothy that while physical training is of some value, godliness is valuable in every way, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. And so the habits that we're learning are part of that godly training that Paul is talking about. And all of this is important because, as Noah Heron says, an encounter with Jesus will set us free. Our spiritual habits will keep us free. So today we're exploring celebration, and so we might say an encounter with Jesus will set us free. Our celebration will keep us free. Now, I told a story about how my graduation hit, and you may not have missed an important moment in the pandemic, although you might have. But maybe there were other things that you thought would make you happy, and then when they came, they didn't land the way that you expected. We like to pause throughout our message to give you a chance to think about what we're talking about, to process. And so I want to invite you to turn to someone around you, or if you're joining us online, you can put it in the chat. Here's our question, our first question for discussion. Talk about a time when expectation didn't match reality. So you can talk about this question. You can talk about a different question. There's no pop quiz. I'm not going to come around and observe your work. We'll have 90 seconds on the timer, so turn to someone around you. So what I didn't say when I was sharing my story is that I did have a celebration that was meaningful. My husband Nathan put together, I don't know, I'm assuming this was a thing that all across the country, at least where I was at in North Carolina, people would do parades. So like, it was a surprise, and I showed up at this place, and then people started driving through with like signs and like cards. It was all social distance, and it was really, really sweet. But it wasn't that moment of like walking across the stage and shaking the president's hand and getting the president of the seminary, obviously.
Yeah.
And getting my diploma. So yeah, it was just a little bit different. How about you, Lou?
You know, there are two things that come to my mind. Number one is, especially when I'm doing something, I so rarely meet my expectations, which really, normally expectation is something that we kind of define through our lives by past events, and past performances or past experiences. So if I so rarely meet my own expectations, what on earth is developing this expectation?
Right.
I have no idea, because I don't know, but it is something that almost always the times don't meet expectations.
So are you talking about like your performance of something doesn't match, or is it like an experience doesn't match what you were
Generally,
hoping for?
what that question hit me more to that first. My own participation in something. When I was a pastor, there was like this thing where people said that if somebody agrees to visit your church for the first time, let's say you're out in public and you invite somebody, you develop a friendship, and say, oh yeah, I'll be there Sunday, you can expect less than 10% of those people that know you well to be there that next Sunday. So I've already had a lowered expectation and everything else. So it's more about my own participation in something where I kind of don't meet my own expectations, almost always.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's too much information.
No, it's not too much. You answered the question. Let's continue on here with the next segment. I think, as we've learned, many of us have experienced this, or we do experience this. We think that happiness is going to come from the next big thing. Like when we get the job that we've been looking for, when we get the big promotion, I'll be so excited. When I finally have a partner or I get married, that's when I'll be excited. When I have stability or success, I'll have space to celebrate. But here's the thing. Daniel Gilbert, a Harvard psychologist, reflected in his book, Stumbling on Happiness, that people who expected a big jump in happiness from a major life experience didn't experience much lasting change. So maybe you've had this momentary burst of joy where you accomplished the thing that you've been working for, you landed the job, or you got married, or fill in the blank, but it didn't last. He found that the happiest people were those who noticed and celebrated small things. He said, joy grows like a snowball rolling down a hill in the middle of winter. So when we're constantly looking for the next big thing to make us happy, the happiness doesn't tend to last. But when we notice and celebrate the small things, it builds and it makes a big difference. Sometimes I find myself doing the same thing where I'm looking for the next big thing in my faith. We might start to feel like Easter is the next big thing. And once I get to Easter, I'll feel some kind of way. Especially, if you've been fasting for something in Lent, leading up to Easter, then you're like, ooh, when I get to Easter, I can indulge in that thing, right? We keep looking ahead to the next thing to bring us joy. This week before Easter, the Sunday before Easter, is often referred to as Palm Sunday. Some Christian traditions pay more attention to this than others, but it's called Palm Sunday because 1 week before Jesus' death and resurrection, he entered into the city of Jerusalem. And as he entered into the city of Jerusalem, people gathered around to celebrate him. And they laid their cloaks down and they laid palm tree branches down on the ground to make his path. So Palm Sunday tells us a little bit of a different story about joy. Because the people laid down branches and shouted words of praise, and they shouted things like Hosanna, which is a word that means save us in Hebrew. They said, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the coming kingdom of our father David. So they recognized Jesus as a descendant of King David. And really, they expected him to be a ruler like King David, to lead in that tradition of a warrior king. They said, Hosanna in the highest heaven. So the crowd is celebrating before Jesus' death, before his resurrection, before the world got turned on its head. So this is joy that's loud, but maybe fragile. It's hopeful, but it's incomplete. It's not naive joy. It's defiant joy. What if joy is really a practice? The writer of Proverbs says that the prospect of the righteous is joy, but the hopes of the wicked come to nothing. So it's not just that we're looking forward to some future outcome that's full of joy. The looking itself, anticipating itself, is joy. This reminds me of John Wesley's means of grace. John Wesley is the founder of the Methodist movement, which gave rise to the United Methodist Church. Sycamore Creek is the United Methodist Church. And he said that there are an infinite number of means of grace. Means of grace are pathways through which we might experience God's grace. And there are expected means of grace, pathways in which we can typically expect God's grace, things like reading our Bible or Sabbath rest, some of the other habits that we've talked about in this series. And there are infinite, unexpected ways that we might experience God's grace. And these means of grace, they're not the grace in themselves, they're channels through which we experience God's grace. And so maybe we might think of joy in a similar way. Practices of joy aren't the joy themselves. We can't use practices to manufacture joy, but the practices position us to notice joy. The practices of joy position us to receive joy. So here's the key theological framework. Joy isn't something that we achieve or earn. Joy is something we open ourselves to again and again. Noah Heron introduced me to something that he called confetti theology. And this is like small celebrations and big joy. It's marked by earnest praise and imperfect joy that's offered honestly. Kind of like palm branches, right? Those palm branches that have come to be the symbol of this week of the Christian calendar where they were small and ordinary and fleeting. Kind of like confetti. This is about looking for small moments that we can throw a bit of confetti and celebrate a moment with the people around you. Recently, I completed another step on the path toward ordination, and the process is a little bit confusing, but in November, I submitted a 25-page paper, this is the day that I turned it in, answering theological questions. And then I had around 3 hours of interviews at the beginning of March. And all candidates leave these interviews not knowing whether they received a no, a not yet, or a yes. And the no means there's probably something going on that, like, you probably should not be a pastor. A not yet means, okay, we'd like you to go back and work on some of these answers and keep thinking about this stuff and then come back to us in such and such amount of time. And a yes means, okay, we see you're ready. You're going to go to the next step. The next step is another 3 years of working and mentored ministry and all kinds of stuff like that. I use mentored ministry loosely. It's fine. So I left my interviews. They were on a Tuesday, and I felt pretty confident, but also maybe you've experienced those moments where you feel pretty confident and you tell everybody, yeah, I got it, and then you didn't, and then you have to go back and tell everybody you didn't get it, and that feels really bad. So I did not want to do that. I was hedging my optimism just a little bit. On Thursday, I hadn't heard anything, which is what I expected. They told me it would be Thursday or Friday before I heard. And I had a lunch gathering with other United Methodist clergy in the Lansing area. This is something we do every other month. And at the end of that lunch, while we're still sitting there, I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize. So I stepped outside, and I took this phone call, It was 36 seconds long. And then I came back and I passed, and it was like really exciting. So the clergy there, they celebrated with me. One of them brought me a beer from the place we were at. It was a small confetti moment. And when I looked back on that and reflected on this moment, I was so grateful to be with them. Because most of the clergy there, they understood this process. Either they've been through it or they've watched their colleagues go through it. They knew what a significant moment this was. And I imagine being at home, I often work from home, and getting this 30-second phone call, and then just hanging up, and it's me at home. And it kind of being anticlimactic. But there was this moment there with my colleagues where they celebrated with me. We had a little confetti moment. So I had missed the big celebration with my community for graduation, but I got this small confetti moment with my community for passing my interviews. So let's pause here for another chat question. Talk about a moment that was more meaningful to you because you shared it with other people. Again, we're going to have 90 seconds on the timer. You can get up and move around if you need to. If you're joining us online, you can put it in the chat. Take a minute to talk about it. All right. I hope you had some good conversations. Lou, you had a little tidbit of information, a little factoid.
Yeah, sometimes celebration is great when we throw confetti, but confetti is plural, confetto is singular, and sometimes we just get a single confetto.
I love this.
Doesn't seem very celebratory, but
But that's maybe the snowball effect, right?
Yeah,
Like one little piece is but when you have snowballs and you're celebrating all the little moments.
I really appreciate what Daniel, whatever his name was, that is meaningful to me because so often I'm looking for that big moment, and eventually after even celebrating with your colleagues, when you celebrate with somebody, that ends and you're back home and you're back to life, and what's going to sustain that joy past that celebratory moment?
Yeah, I think it's continuing to look for those little moments.
Yeah, confettos.
Yeah. Little confetto.
No, a confetto. One confetto after another.
Okay. All right. So what might this look like in your life as you go about this? It's not forced positivity. It's intentional joy and celebration. So first, when it comes to confetti theology, you're going to celebrate yourself. For many of us, it's easy to be self-critical. It's easier to be self-critical than it is to meaningfully celebrate ourselves. So try to notice and celebrate the growth that you're experiencing instead of shaming yourself for not being further along. Allow yourself to be earnest about joy. I think most of us have experienced at one point or another a time when we were earnestly joyful about something and then we were shamed for it. It can be hard to move past that, but I hope that you can risk it. I hope that you can practice joy that's earnest and unworried about what other people think. It reminds me a little bit of the acceptance speech that Snoop Dogg gave for his Hollywood star when he says, "I want to thank me." Celebrate yourself. And remember that joy doesn't require a rival. You don't have to achieve a certain thing or reach a certain milestone for it to be worthy of joy. You don't earn the right to joy. You only need to be aware of the things that already bring you joy and nurture them. So practice celebrating yourself with small celebrations and big joy. So celebrate yourself. Celebrate others. Jesus told us to love our neighbors as ourselves. In fact, he said that was the second greatest commandment, only after loving God with everything that we have. So maybe we could expand that idea to celebration. If we're learning to celebrate ourselves, then maybe we can learn to celebrate others as we celebrate ourselves. We can look for signs of growth, for courage, for faithfulness in others, instead of focusing on where people aren't there yet. I wonder if this could be especially helpful for us in conversations around justice and growth. There's this thing I noticed where someone who has been vocally on one side, maybe we could call it side one, begins to take steps toward justice, whatever that might be, on the other side, side two. And the people who have been on side two for a long time criticize the person making that journey. Like, do you expect a gold star for realizing what we've been saying for decades? And maybe sometimes that could be warranted. But I also think that when side two is too cynical, they or we or whoever might unintentionally make it difficult for people to make those changes, to take those steps. Why would people want to take a step toward justice if they're going to be shamed for it by those who are further along? What if we could just acknowledge that growth, that small step for the victory that it is? When we celebrate others, we can also celebrate loudly and generously. Take your friend out for a drink when they accomplish something. Send them a card in the mail or a text message. Let them see your emotion when you're proud of them or struck by their resilience. Don't hold back, because joy multiplies when it's shared. Practice celebrating others with small celebrations and big joy. So we celebrate ourselves, we celebrate others, and we celebrate even in bad times. This one can be a little tricky to talk about because it's not about finding the silver lining. It's not about taking lemons and making lemonade, because sometimes you only have the ingredients to make a turd sandwich. This is an image from Scott Erickson in a book called In the Low, and he made this book with Justin McRoberts, and it came with a prayer that Justin wrote. He said, I know when I'm given lemons, I'm supposed to make lemonade. And I know I'm supposed to take my pain and turn it into something useful, but today, with the ingredients of my life in front of me, all I feel like I can make is a turd sandwich. Thank you for hearing my honest prayer. Celebrating in the bad times is about holding joy and grief together. It's about giving yourself permission to be more than one thing at a time. Giving yourself permission to feel more than one thing at a time. You can feel profound grief and profound joy simultaneously. Palm Sunday teaches us that joy can exist even when the road leads to the cross. Even when the end of the journey is the worst thing you can imagine, there can be moments of joy along the way. And joy even after the worst thing comes true. Palm Sunday teaches us that living in the both and, where I feel both joy and grief, is a kind of faithfulness. We're both full of joy and acknowledging the grief. So we're going to practice celebrating, even in bad times, with small celebration and big joy. So when I reflect on the kind of community that I want to build, it's one that throws confetti instead of withholding celebration. I don't want to be stingy with my celebration. I want to build a community that notices small signs of life and growth and names them out loud, because joy isn't something that we arrive at all in one moment. It's something we practice. It grows like a snowball rolling down the hill. Joy is a habit we develop. It's a holy habit that helps us to stay in love with God, because an encounter with Jesus will set us free, and our spiritual habits will keep us free. Or, as we've been saying today, an encounter with Jesus will set us free, and our celebration will keep us free. Today on Palm Sunday, I want to invite us to celebrate together. Our final question for discussion is, what's one thing that you're celebrating today? So I'm going to give you 90 seconds to think about this, and then when we come back, I'm going to invite you to share, to shout out to the group what you're celebrating today. And we're going to take a moment to celebrate together. So turn to someone around you. If you're joining us online, you can put it in the chat. What's something you're celebrating today? All right. I hope you had some good conversations. I want to invite you now to just share. I'm going to invite you to shout out, and then I'll repeat it so that everyone can hear and so that our people who are joining us online can hear. What's one thing that you're celebrating today? You're pregnant!
Woo!
That is Ellie Southworth. Our kids ministry coordinator is expecting a baby.
Woohoo!
Next Sunday is my first East playing back at South in 7 years.
Oh,
Woo!
Marion's first Sunday playing at South Lansing and 7 years on Easter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am glad you're playing back. Yeah.
Vacation with your husband. So exciting. You get your grandson this week. You get to spend some time with him. Okay, awesome.
Oh, wow.
Lou is still in remission. Good health.
Good health.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
We're celebrating with you.
Yes, indeed.
Wait,
Woo, yeah.
Bethany's been at Sycamore Creek for a whole year.
It's a celebration for her and for us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Brian, what were you going to say? Walkable weather. It's warm outside again.
Yep, finally.
What? Springtime.
Yes.
I got to go to a women's hockey game yesterday in Detroit. That was really fun.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's
That was
very
really
cool.
fun. Anybody else? Warmer weather.
Yes.
Is it? Who we're with.
Who
the
we're
community
with.
that we're part of.
Yes.
Okay, so when you came in, some of you got this thing. The loop goes on your finger. You've got this paper. You're gonna peel off the paper. This is a chance for us to celebrate. So if you've got one of these things, stand up. Okay, you ready? We're going to praise God, okay? So when I say everybody praise God, then we'll do this and we'll cheer, okay? Everybody praise God.
Woo! Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Pull it back in. Pull it back in. All right. Look at that. This is my new favorite thing.
Wow.
Look at this.
That's lovely. That's lovely.
Kira somehow wound up like a mummy.
Oh, wow. That's
All
beautiful.
right. Yay.
Oh. I see a confetti on the floor.
A confetti, yes. I think there's a few. This is less cleanup than actual confetti bombs. But still not no cleanup.
Yeah.
Okay, Jen, I'm going to give this to you. Shelly is going around with, and Marilyn are going around with trash bags. Thank you for celebrating with us.
It is a beautiful thing to celebrate, but it's also a celebration to see other people celebrate.
It is.
It
is more
beautiful.
meaningful in community,
yes,
isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. All right. We're going to shift now into some ways that you might connect with us. We'd like to connect with you, especially as we move into Holy Week. We're moving into this week before Easter, and we've got some stuff going on. So pull out that connection card. You flip it over, and there are some next steps. There's also a place where you can write prayer requests if you've got something going on in your life. And we're going to talk about what these next steps are. So you can just listen for a little bit. First, we've got our Easter events coming up this week.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We have on April 2nd, Easter in a pub, which is, we can parse that out. It's an Easter celebration in a pub.
Yep.
It's at Buddy's Grill. It's at 7 o'clock on the 2nd of April.
That's this Thursday.
That is just right around the corner.
And if it's your first time, you get a free burger and fries. Feel free to bring a friend, and we'll buy them a free burger and fries. So, Buddy's Grill in Holt. It's at Cedar and Aurelius. Aurelius and Holt Road.
Holt Road, yes.
Aurelius and Holt Road. All right. Then on Saturday, we've got our South Pennsylvania Cleanup Day. So we're going to gather here at 1 p.m. We're partnering with the city of Lansing. They're giving us like trash bags and trash grubbers and all kinds of stuff. And we're just going to pick up the trash along this road, clean up our neighborhood. If you're interested in doing this, please sign up for it, because when I checked the weather yesterday, it looked like it might storm. And so I want to be able to communicate with you if we have to change any of our plans. So make sure to do that.
Sign up. That's
Yep.
right. Yep.
And then?
Yeah, Easter in a church, which is, again, let's parse this out. It's Easter in a church, and it will be here next Sunday. Note the time, 10:30 a.m., and we can celebrate Easter. Easter is a cool day in the life of the church, and so don't miss it. All right,
so we're going to, we'll celebrate that next week. I'm sorry, the egg hunt, yep. So invite, pick up, or bring someone to join you at one of these events, or sign up to volunteer. You can just write that on your connection card. We'd love to have you join us. And then the last thing that I want to tell you about is that today we're going to have a hockey hangout at my house at 5 p.m. So if you would like to join, catch me and I'll give you my address. I prefer not to share it on our stream. So just let me know. And Carolina Hurricanes are my team, and we're playing the Montreal Canadiens.
And we hope that it's a time of celebrating a Carolina Hurricanes victory, right?
Exactly. They beat the New Jersey Devils yesterday, which was exciting, because I could say more about that. Anyways, as you finish that on your connection card, drop that in the blue bucket at the end of your row. It will just give us a chance to connect with you and follow up with you on anything that you signed up for. You can also put any financial gifts that you have in that blue bucket. There's an envelope in your program, or you can scan this QR code or go on the website. However you choose to give, we're really thankful for your giving. It helps make everything here possible. And today we're celebrating, not this past week, but the week before was the United Methodist Advocacy Day. So we had like 10 people from Sycamore Creek show up on the Capitol, talk to their lawmakers, to talk about keeping money for food services, for like food insecurity in our state budget because we're facing a deficit. And so we had like 4 people from South Lansing go. So thank you. That was a really, I think, successful day.
I love what you said about what Pastor Mark said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Pastor Mark from Potterville, it was his first time going to one of the advocacy days. And I asked him his takeaway. He said, it wasn't as big of a deal as I thought. And what he meant was when you go and talk to your senators or congresspeople, it feels like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a big thing. Like, I really need to know what I'm going to talk about. I need to have all my stuff together. And some prep is good, but then you get in there and you realize these are just people. They're just people, and you're just having a conversation. And so you realize it's not as intimidating as you might think it is. And going in a group like this gives you a chance to practice that and have those skills without doing it all on your own.
That's cool.
So,
very cool.
Last week was our Generosity Sunday. We invited you all to make a pledge. Just communicate with us what you think you might give during this coming year. It's not too late to do that. You have a card in your program. I have learned that South Lansing had more pledge cards this year than we had last year. Just huge praise.
But are we in first place?
But Potterville has more. So we were joking. It's not a competition unless we win, and then it is a competition. So come through for me. No, this really just helps us to plan our budget for the year and make sure that our programming is effective and we're living into our mission. And so your communication just really helps us to make those plans well. So not too late to do that. We do have a couple more songs to sing. The first one is a Sycamore Creek original. So would you stand with me as you're able, and let's sing together.
Widows and orphans, the poor cast aside, lost sheep and lepers, unclean and despised. Jesus drew near, never turned them away, called each one beloved. We're going to pick it up a bit. Let's try that again, shall we? We got confused.
I wish I could tell you, if I could describe it, but I can't contain it, can't keep it to myself. There aren't enough colors to paint the whole picture, not enough words to ever say what I found. Wonderful and beautiful and glorious and holy, He is merciful and powerful. Who are we talking about? That's my King. We declare the glory, give Him all the honor, altogether worthy. Who are we talking about? That's my King. There's no one before you. Yes, we will adore you. All of this is for you. Who are we talking about? That's my King. I'm not letting the rocks cry without joining the chorus. There aren't enough notes to make that harmony. It's a song of the angels, of the angels, of the earth and heaven's symphony. Wonderful and beautiful and glorious and holy, He is merciful and powerful. Who are we talking about? That's my King. We declare the glory, give Him all the honor, altogether worthy. Who are we talking about? That's my King. There's the one before you. Yes, we will adore you. All of this is for you. Who are we talking about? That's my King. That's my King. That's my God. That's my shepherd, my protector. That's my King. That's my rock. That's my anchor, my defender. That's my King. That's my God. He's my shepherd, my protector. He's my King. That's my rock. He's my anchor, my defender. Who are we talking about? That's my King. We declare the glory, we give Him all the honor, altogether worthy. Who are we talking about? That's my King. There's the one before you. Give Him all the honor, altogether worthy. Who are we talking about? That's my King. There's the one before you. Yes, we will adore you. All of this is for you. Who are we talking about? That's my King. 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 Who are we talking about? That's my King.
Thanks for joining us next week. I hope that you will be back. Thanks for joining us this week. Hope you will join us next week as we celebrate Easter together. As you go, here's a question for you since I have the hockey hangout tonight. Do you follow any sports, and who's your team? You can talk to someone as you're leaving until I see you
Packers.
next week.
Go
Be
Pack.
curious, be creative, and be compassionate. Go in peace, friends.
We declare the glory,